All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Tune into the X Zone, feel that cosmic flow. Rob McConnell's the captain, guiding us through the glow. Galaxies far and wide, we're on a quest for truth. Cover-ups and whispers, we're digging for the proof. From Roswell secrets to Rendlesham lights, the stories come alive on those mysterious nights. Former insiders, abductees take the stage. Personal encounters, they turn the page. In the X Zone, we're grooving through the stars. Searching for answers, we reach for our dreams. Episode, we unravel the extremes. Area 51, where the secrets run deep. Alien implants that make you lose sleep. Astrophysicists and researchers unite, pushing the limits, reaching new heights. Each twist and turn reveals something more. Hidden truth rise like smoke from the floor. With Rob at the helm, we navigate the night. The journey of discovery lights up our sights. In the X Zone, we're grooving through the stars. For answers, we reach for our dreams. Are we alone? Is there life out there? With each episode, we unravel the extremes. Credible reports, ancient theories collide. The skies are never empty, there's something to find. Confronting the questions that live in your mind. With an open heart, the unknown is kind. Take a journey far beyond the blue. Explore the wonders that may be waiting for you. From the shadows we chase into the light, the unknown keeps us curious, ignites our flight. Listeners tuned in, we share the surprise, searching for life in those starry skies. Rob's got the mic, the world's at our feet. Every voice matters in this cosmic beat. So join the conversation, it's your call to make. The X Zone's the place where reality breaks. In the X Zone, we're grooving through the stars, searching for answers, we reach for our dreams. Are we alone? Is there life out there? With each episode, we unravel the extremes. So grab your headphones, let's take to the air. With Rob McConnell leading us, we're boldly aware. From secrets to sightings, there's so much.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you on the X Zone Broadcast Network and on the CanCom Broadcast Network and on radio on your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ. That's 1220 AM on the radio dial, and they stream us worldwide at classic1220.ca. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And as you know, this is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's also a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. We come to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight. And on this first hour of tonight's show, we have GAIL Martin as our guest. And GAIL is an acclaimed author of the internationally celebrated Chronicles of Necromancer series, along with numerous best-selling fantasy and paranormal novels that blend ancient myths, supernatural intrigue, and the richly imagined worlds. Beyond her work as a novelist, GAIL has also helped authors and businesses succeed through marketing, branding, publishing strategy, and telecommunications consulting. Tonight we're going to explore the power of storytelling, the enduring fascinations with the paranormal and the unknown, the evolution of publishing in the digital age, and why fantasy fiction continues to reflect the deepest truths of the human experience. From ghosts to legends, to magic, mythology, and the mysteries hidden just beyond the veil. This is going to be a fascinating conversation, Exonation. So lock your doors, dim the lights, and get ready to journey into the world where imagination and mysteries collide. Joining me now is Gail Martin. Gail, welcome back to the X Zone. It's been too long since you've been with us. How have you been?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Gail, for listeners first meeting you for the first time, who is Gail Martin and what inspired the creation of Dream Spinner Communications?
Well, I wanted to write books from the time I was a kid. In my first story that I ever wrote, I had to dictate to my grandmother because I was 5 and I couldn't spell yet. And it was about a vampire. So I have stayed very close to my roots. I always have loved things that were spooky and mysterious and supernatural and paranormal. I was a history major in college. I got an MBA so I could afford groceries, but I was a history major in college because I wanted to delve into those legends and that background information. And all of that has, I did work in corporate for a while, but I was working on the books while I did that. And then everything finally worked out for me to get them published. And now I write full time and I'm loving it.
So you've built a career that bridges publishing, marketing, storytelling, and communications. How did that journey begin?
Well, my first paying job was as an all-night DJ at the radio station in my hometown, and it was a summer job. I was in college. I was also on the college radio station, but that was not paying. That college radio station had 10 screaming watts of power from the basement of the freshman dorm. The radio station in my hometown was better than that, but looking back on it, it's kind of crazy because they locked me in the radio station inside a closed mall, and there I stayed all night on the radio. And I always swore that when you worked an all-night radio shift, you found out who your friends' parents were who drank too much and called in radio music requests.
I would imagine that times there's a storybook on that alone.
Well, there weren't any ghosts, so it wasn't that interesting.
So what inspired your passion for fantasy, paranormal, and the speculative fiction writing?
I think some of those early things watching, I saw Star Wars 17 times in the theater, and then many, 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 many times after that. But when it first came out, I went with everybody that I could talk into going with me, and then I just went by myself and sat there and watched it. So that was transformative, just seeing that become real and larger than life. I loved sci-fi books and fantasy books. I loved the idea of magic because it's drawing on so many traditions and belief systems, whether or not you credit those belief systems with having any powers, personal matter. But throughout history, human beings have looked for something more powerful than themselves that they can wield for protection or defense or, punishment. So that goes very deep in human history. And I loved researching that. I loved reading books like that. And that just made the itch stronger and stronger that I wanted to write those myself.
So how did your background in corporate communication influence your approach to storytelling and publishing?
Well, like I said, I got the MBA in marketing so that I could afford typing paper. And I did work in corporate communications. I was a director of corporate communications and a marketing manager and a bunch of other, silly titles like that for over a decade, companies of all sizes. And it was really about telling a story about the product or the company and telling a persuasive story so that their intended audience would be interested in learning more and taking action, which really isn't that far off from the idea of telling a story to readers to make them want to buy the next book in the series, to make them forget about what they're thinking about and get on board with the story that you've told. So it was really getting a chance to influence people. I tried to work for companies that I believed in the product. I did a fairly decent job of that. And it was gratifying to get a message out there to people who needed the product to convince them that this was the solution they were looking for. And I learned a lot about people and organizations and writing along the way.
So, how has the digital age changed publishing from the olden days when there was no such thing as self-publishing?
Oh, quite a bit. Now, my Chronicles of the Necromancer series was originally published by Solaris Books over in England.
Mm-hmm.
And then my Fallen King cycle and Ascendant Kingdom saga are published by Orbit Books, which is a division of Hachette. And the Spell, Salt, and Steel, Joe Mack Adventures, and Wasteland Marshall series that I co-write with my husband, Larry N. Martin, are published by Falstaff Books. And then we, as under the auspices of Dream Spinner Communications, Dream Spinner Press, and Soul Publishing, publish the reverted rights books and the new books coming forward. So it's really a mix. And it's been a learning experience. My husband is right there with me and does a lot of the back end stuff. I write the stories, he produces them up and gets them out there for people to read. And I'm still working with a number of different publishers on, stories for anthologies. So it's a mixed bag. And I love getting a chance to play in all those sandboxes. But I think that, when I started, you'd query an editor and you'd wait 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Maybe they'd never get back to you. And, this was sending them a typewritten letter. We are talking olden days here. And sending them a physical manuscript. I know it's hard to believe. There were dinosaurs, but we ignored them. And the process took forever. And nobody was in a big hurry. And then if they did buy your story, and by the way, I've got a New York agent. I'll drop one name and say that it's the same agent John Scalzi has, so I'm in pretty good company. He makes a lot more money off Scalzi than he does off me, but hey, it's the thought that counts. And he has been very, very good to me through my career. So get an agent, you do the pitch, and then you wait some more, and then they accept it, and then you wait some more. And, it can take 1, 2, 3 years to get a book from submission to out the door in the traditional publishing setting. And I think it's a little faster than that now but in the big section, with the big presses, maybe not so much. There's still a lot of, it just takes a while. Smaller presses can be faster or can be slower. And that was something that we liked about being able to bring some of the books out ourselves. We had the technological know-how, we had the computer background and the computer equipment, and that gave us a lot more control. And
Gail, we've got to take a break. Please stand by.
Okay.
Exonation, our guest is Gail Martin. Her website, dreamspinnercommunications.com. This is the X, and I am Rob McConnell. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
They turn the page. In the X Zone, we're grooving through the stars, searching for answers. We reach for our dreams. Are we alone? Is there life out there? With each episode, we unravel the extremes. Area 51, where the secrets run deep. Alien implants that make you lose sleep. Astrophysicists and researchers unite, pushing the limits, reaching new heights. In the heart of the night, where the shadows play, on the X Zone we gather, come what may, with Rob McConnell guiding us. Searching for truth, igniting the spark. Whispers of spirits, both gentle and bold. Tales of the ancients in the stories retold. From haunted old houses to the echoing halls, we seek the unknown where mystery us through realms where the phantoms overwhelm. Investigations unfold with a mix of delight. Spiritual medium shedding light in the night. From EVPs to the tales of the seen and the felt. Each conversation brings the truth that they've dwelt. The fires of skepticism they tenderly stoke. In the dance of the shadows, the silences spoke. On the X-Zone Radio, where the truth finds a way through the stories of ghosts that wander and sway, inviting the seekers, the wise and the brave. Join us each episode, let the curious say. So we venture through history, uncover the past. With laughter and wonder, we're free, we are vast. In haunted locales, steeped in stories and strife. In the dance of the spirits, we meet with new life. From castles to graveyards, the echoes are clear. The veil may be thin, but the truth hovers near. So come take a seat, let your mind start to roam. On the X-Zone, dear friend, you are never alone. With Rob as our captain, we sail the unknown. Together we seek where the shadows are sown. We honor the voices that linger in time as we search through the darkness and read through the
Welcome back, everyone. Gail Martin is our special guest for this hour. Her website is www.dreamspinnercommunications.com. Gail, your Chronicles of Necromancer series became widely recognized. What inspired that universe and its characters?
You know, I love the idea of a necromancer who was a good. So often that is a type of magic. Of course, necromancer is somebody who can speak to the spirits of the dead and possibly, even depending on the way it's set up, raise the dead. They're always the bad guy. And I thought that wasn't fair. So I wanted to create a story about someone who comes into their power and learns how to use that magic for good instead of evil. And that's pretty much where it went. I had a lot of fun writing that, and I'm very proud of that series.
Why do you think audiences today continue to be fascinated by dark fantasy, necromancers, ghosts, and supernatural themes?
Well, I think, part of it is we read to escape. So we read to turn off the news and get away from the headlines and forget the world around us and escape into another world where, anything is possible. And wouldn't it be great if we had magic to solve some of our problems and defeat the bad guys and stop the monsters? Wouldn't it be great if we could do those things and be the hero? And I think that's the perennial attraction, is it's an escape from reality and a chance to lose yourself in an alternate world where the problems that bother you don't exist.
Now, many of your stories blend fantasy with paranormal elements. Do you personally believe that there are mysteries in this world we still cannot explain?
Oh, I think it would be very wrong to think that we've got it all figured out. Every time we say that, there's some big breakthrough. So, no, I don't think we have it all figured out. I don't think we know everything there is to know. Scientists notwithstanding, there's always a new frontier out there. I think sometimes some of the things that our ancestors may have perceived as being supernatural or paranormal in nature, we have found other explanations for, like eclipses.
Sure.
But it's a big universe out there, and I think we're really little. And I think I love the idea that there are mysteries out there that we don't yet understand.
How much historical research actually goes into the creating of your fictional worlds?
Well, I keep going back to that. I did an undergraduate degree in history and took as many medieval history courses as my college offered. So, there's some background there wanting to understand how that time period on Earth in reality worked, particularly in Europe. And I've always read deeply in that vein and read both history books and other fantasy fiction set in that medieval time period. And you can put quote marks around medieval because that's very squishy. But that was my first love. And so that was what I wanted to write. And I did, 5 series of medieval epic fantasy. And then Larry and I have done a steampunk series as well. But 5 series of epic fantasy, all in different worlds, all with different premises and different magic. That's a blast.
How many books have you and your husband published together, all told?
All told, it's more than 60.
Wow.
And it's always changing because we keep bringing out more. But it's more than 60 when you count the books that come out as GAIL, that come out as GAIL and Larry, that come out under Larry and Martin, and then as Morgan Bryce, I write urban fantasy, male paranormal romance. So there are 6 series there. So lots to choose from.
So it keeps you out of trouble, right?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
XO Nation, my guest this hour is Gail Martin, and her website is dreamspinnercommunications.com. Many of your stories blend fantasy with the paranormal elements. It seems to be the best of both worlds, romance and paranormal. Wow, what a combination. Did you stumble across that, or was this a well-thought-of plan?
Well, I like romance stories when there is also a solid plot of some kind beyond just getting the 2 people together.
Sure.
And, my favorite books are those that have paranormal plots because the real world is boring. If I want the real world, I'll watch the news. I want to.
But how can you say that the real world is boring when we live in some of the most turbulent times in history right now?
Okay, let me rephrase that and say the real world is terrifying and beyond our control. And so I want an escape. You blew my cover. I said boring and I meant terrifying.
Okay.
We do live in an extremely turbulent time. And it's nice to be able to escape from that.
That's right, yeah.
Maybe we don't leave our armchair, but mentally we can put down that burden and go somewhere else where the good guys win.
Over the years of having the pleasure of not only talking to you, but reading your books, you provide, in my opinion, the very best of the best when it comes to what a person looks for. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, thank you. That's a high compliment. I try to make sure that the bad guy is a sufficient villain that it doesn't seem like, cakewalk. There have to be stakes. There has to be danger. The reader has to believe that even though, I tell people, hey, there's always a happy ending. I guarantee that. I want them 3/4 of the way through to wonder if maybe I fibbed a little. And I think to do that, you have to have a convincing 3-dimensional villain who has high stakes of their own, who really, really, really wants something enough to burn down the world for it. And so that's what I shoot for. And that's a lot of fun to come up
Yeah.
with. It's fun to come up with a different challenge in each book. Some of the series have an ongoing challenge that unfolds over several books. Some of them, it's a different bad guy in each one. That's a challenge to me as a writer. But we aren't guaranteed that the good guys always win and that we get happy endings to everything in the real world. That's one of the pleasures of fiction, is that no matter how keyed up you get over the action, you know in the back of your mind it's going to be okay. And I personally look for that. I will gladly admit that I will read reviews and Google about a book before I start reading it if it's new to me, because I want to know it ends well. I have enough angst from watching the real world news. I don't need that in my time off reading. So I will go and look, does it have a happy ending? And if it doesn't, you know, speaking for me personally, I'll walk away, because I have enough of that in real life. I want a happy ending. And so I want to give that to my readers.
We've got to take our break here, but before we go, I had one of my granddaughters came to the studio last week, and we were talking, and she said, "Well, Papa, it seems that the guests that you have on the show are a lot like God." I said, whoa, what do you mean by that, sweetheart? She says, well, they create a world as they would like to see it. And in their world, they bring everyone into their world, and they take them through the same things that God would take us through. And I said, you know what? That's a pretty good way of looking at it. A little anti-religious, mind you, but I think she had a point there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let it go to your head, but you definitely are making the decisions of life and death over your characters. And if you fall in love with your characters and their stories, you try to be a beneficent God.
Hey, Gail, I hate to do this. You know how this business works. Got to take a commercial break. Please stand by. XO Nation, Gail Martin is my guest, and you're listening to us on the CanCom Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM.
Join us each episode. In the late night hours when the world's asleep, Rob McConnell's voice echoes secrets to keep. From Roswell's whispers to tales of the sky, on the X-Zone radio we learn to fly high. With every new guest the story unfolds, from abductees' tales to the mysteries told. Government cover-ups, they're deep and they're wide, but we're on a quest with the truth as our guide. Oh, journey through the X-Zone, the cosmos we roam, searching for answers beyond our earthly home. Are we alone in the dark, or watching from afar? In the heart of the night, we're reaching for stars. They say there's a base where the secrets are bound.
Gail Martin is my guest this hour, XO Nation. Her website is dreamspinnercommunications.com. Gail, have you yourself ever had a paranormal experience?
Nothing dramatic. I hate to say that, but it's true. I have definitely gotten heebie-jeebies in places. I have definitely had a sense that there was some kind of presence that couldn't be seen. I have gone places that were said to be haunted and gotten an, oh, hell no, let's get out of here. Turned around and left.
Uh-huh.
I am respectful of what I don't understand. I think it's certainly very possible. I have friends who I truly believe have the psychic abilities that they claim to have, and have, whether they're psychics or mediums or whatever, have gifts that I don't possess to see things that I don't see. But alas, for me, it is really not that exciting. So no women in white drifting through the hallway.
Yet.
Yeah, this is true.
Um, how about your husband? Does he believe in the paranormal? Has he had paranormal experiences?
I think we both have a healthy respect
Mm-hmm.
for it, and we don't go out of our way to go places where we could run into trouble or um, kind of bring something home with us. So there is enough belief there to say, I'm going to treat this with respect and not ask for trouble. And doesn't have to be backed up with being able to do the woo woo yourself.
Right.
I have been, like I said, I've been in places
Mm-hmm.
where I had that sense that there was other presence there to believe that far. And I think we both agreed on we don't go looking for problems.
Are any of your characters inspired by real people you've met during your life or career?
Not in a one-on-one kind of way. I think as writers, I've seen T-shirts that said "Be nice or I'll use you in my next book," uh, and I think, um, if we grew up on a desert island and had never met another human being, it would be hard to write stories. So I think all of our characters are bits and pieces of people that we know. But no, I've never really patterned somebody specifically, a character specifically after a real person and rubbed off the VIN numbers.
You've
Uh,
wor- you've worked extensively in marketing and
mhm.
branding. What are authors doing wrong today when promoting themselves online?
Well, online is a big place, and it's easy to get lost
Mm-hmm.
and easy to get drowned out in the shuffle. And authors generally, if they are fronting the money for their promotions, and most of us are, it's not the publishers doing most of that. The budget is very, very scanty. And, honestly, the time is scanty because if we want to keep writing books, there's only so much we can spend marketing. So I think the biggest thing is building an audience and speaking to that audience and bringing people into that audience, but not trying to go wide blast all the time. Because if you get an audience of people who are excited about your stories, interested in your characters, want to get to know
Mm-hmm.
more, want to interact with you as an author, they're going to be your loyal core of people reading your new books. They're going to be telling their friends about them. And so I think probably the easiest mistake to make, and I've made it too, is spending money to go too wide with your story instead of going deep with the people that are really going to stick with you.
What advice would you have for aspiring authors today? Because I'm sure there are authors, people out there that have stories inside of them, and uh, they're afraid to actually take the chance to risk anything, their time and what have you. What advice would you have for them to get noticed in today's crowded marketplace?
Well, I think before you worry about getting noticed,
Mm-hmm.
you worry about honing your craft and being able to write a good story. And that takes time. It takes lots and lots and lots of drafts and revisions and lots of input that you don't necessarily want to hear. This middle part is boring. You need to cut it. Valuable information, not something that you necessarily love to hear, but it's important. So I think read widely in the kind of fiction you want to write. Don't be afraid to start stories that maybe you don't end up finishing. Start stories that are really kind of a practice
Mm-hmm.
exercise that help you build your skills. And this may be controversial in some circles, but I think one place that a lot of people have cut their teeth, me included, is in fan fiction for favorite TV shows. Now, back in my day, when I was first starting out, we didn't have archive of our own. We didn't have the internet. So
Mm-hmm.
people would go to conventions with their little typewritten or photocopy stories, and we would sit in a hotel room and take one, pass it down, take one, pass it down, and read like that. But that taught me how to do setting and characterization. That got me unfiltered feedback from readers that made me a better writer. And so when I branched out and started writing my original stuff, I brought that confidence and that experience with me. So, if you have franchises that you're in love with, that's a great way to cut your teeth.
So, in your opinion, what role does storytelling actually play in effective marketing and communications?
Well,
I'm sorry, especially if there's there's a non-recognized author out there, but damn it, their story is great.
I think this is where things like conventions really come in handy, getting yourself out there in front of audiences. And you start small. You don't start with Comic-Con. You don't start with Dragon Con. You start with your local convention. And have people get to know you, get to know readers, set up advanced reading groups where people get early copies of your book in exchange for feedback. Build that base little by little with those in-person and virtual events. I think that there are a lot of online venues that do interviews and guest blogs. Another great way, inexpensive way to get your name and your books out there. Book festivals. And yes, there's a lot of schlepping that goes into this time. I did it too.
Right.
You get the books out there on the folding card table, and you pitch to everybody who goes by, and you sell books. And some of those people stay with you for 20 years. But I think that connection piece is essential, unless you are lucky enough to have a big publisher throwing buku bucks at traditional marketing. And even then, it doesn't guarantee success just because they throw a lot of money at it. If you don't deliver, and honestly, if you're a real jerk, it's not going to go as well for you as if you make a real personal effort to build those connections yourself, and then you own them. Then they're yours, not the publishers, is what I mean.
Back in the day, you would have to schlep all these books with you, but now everything is digital, so I'm sure it's a lot easier for authors to go to these different events when they can just put everything on a thumb drive and sell the thumb drive instead of the hard print. But
considering people don't want a signed thumb drive, people want signed paperbacks. Now, they may get you to sign the first book in the series in paper, and then buy all the rest of them, rebuy the first one, buy all the rest of them in digital.
Right.
But when you go to these events, people expect stacks of books on the table.
Geez, I hear what you're saying, but I don't understand the reasoning behind it, because is the signed book by the author that important to the people who go to these events?
Yes. I have heard people wax poetic about the smell of opening a new paperback.
Wow.
That ink and paper smell, the idea of holding it in your hand like a religious artifact. Yes, it is transcendent for real bookies. Yeah. And getting that signature means a lot to people. And so the chance to talk to you as the author, look you in the eye, get you to sign your name and some kind of well-wisher comment, and then walk away with that, and that's a treasure. And for people to whom that matters, it matters a lot.
But you see this continuing as the ages change. We go from Generation X to the next generation that is more savvy when it comes to the digital arts, digital creation compared to ink and paper.
it doesn't mean that those people don't also have a large digital library.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about people who will bring home something from an antique shop, people who will bring home a piece of artwork instead of just having a screen that changes pictures on the walls. We still like tangible objects, and they become kind of trophies.
I guess so, yeah. Just like the autograph hunters who have autograph books and they love collecting autographs. Gail, stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. And X-Zone Nation, if you'd like to get more information about our guest this hour, as well as the great books that she has published. And I would imagine all your books are available on Amazon.
They are indeed, and Barnes & Noble and a number of other places, including our Shopify store.
Alrighty, so the website is dreamspinnercommunications.com, and Gail and I will be back as we wrap up the first hour of tonight's show here in the X-Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. You're listening to us on the CanCom Broadcast Network in 170 countries now, and here in Ontario, southwestern Ontario, on the AM radio dial, 1220 is the number. Your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ, is the name of the station, and they stream us at classic1220.ca. So whatever you do, don't go away. We'll be right back after this very short but important message.
In the late night hours when the world from Newfoundland shores to the peaks so grand, we walk together united in this land. Every culture, every heart, a story to unfold. In this living tapestry, our pride is bold. With the wheat fields waving under skies so wide, we carry within us the Canadian pride. It's more than a passport, it's a bond, it's a song. To be Canadian, where we all belong. Oh, proud to be Canadian, our spirits soar high, with values that connect us like stars in the sky. We stand for each other through thick and through thin. In this beautiful mosaic, together we win. Oh, proud to be Canadian, let the anthem resound. A place full of promise, our hearts are unbound. From the northern lights to the bustling streets, in every little corner a heartbeat repeats. We embrace our differences, that's where we find grace. In each other's traditions, we create a warm space. Through challenges faced, our strength shines bright. With democracy guiding us, we strive for what's right. When the world feels heavy, we raise each other up. In our Canadian spirit, there's a never-ending cup. Oh, proud to be Canadian, our spirits soar high, with values that connect us like stars in the sky. We stand for each other through thick and through thin. In this beautiful mosaic, together we win. Oh, proud to be Canadian, let the anthem resound. A place full of promise, our hearts are unbound. We cherish our freedom, our desire and free will. In this land of the brave, we strive to fulfill every dream, every hope for ourselves and our kin. In unity we flourish, and together we win. With a vision of kindness, a mission so clear, we lift up each other, we hold what we hold dear. Oh, proud to be Canadian, our Our spirits soar high with values that connect us like stars in the sky. We stand for each other through thick and through thin. In this beautiful mosaic, together we win. Oh, proud to be Canadian, let the anthem resound. A place full of promise, our hearts are unbound. So here's to our country, to the
Exonation. Gail Martin is my guest of this hour, and her website is www.dreamspinnercommunications.com. And as always, all the songs that we play here on the X-Zone have been produced inside of our recording studios by our musicians, our artists, and our singers. And the songs, the albums, the CDs are available at xzoneradiotv.com. Gail, you've... how am I going to phrase this? Many authors that we've had on the show over the years struggle with writer's block. How do you personally overcome creative burnout? Especially since 60 books, that's a lot.
Well, that's why I write in a variety of different series and a number of different subgenres. If I've told all the stories I have to tell in a certain genre for now,
right,
I can switch over, and if I've run the gamut on what I've got in mind for epic fantasy, there's a lot of urban fantasy territory to cover. If I've decided, doing urban fantasy with a romantic element is fun too, and different series, different characters. That helps me switch it up. I couldn't do all of those books in speaking just for myself. Some people do, and it's great, and God bless them. But I wouldn't want to do 60 books in the same series straight out without doing anything else, because I don't want to repeat myself, and I want it to be fun and exciting. And yeah, sometimes I sit down and go, what the heck am I going to write today? And so I just start writing, and I promise myself that if I don't like it, I can delete everything tomorrow. But most of the time I don't. I go back, I patch some things up, I clean up some language, tighten up phrases. Most of the time I come back to it the next day and go, that's really not too bad. And that's just kind of every day, one foot in front of the other.
What does your writing process look like from idea to finished manuscript?
I've learned to do a good outline. Now that outline is going to change. It's going to change while I'm typing it, but it gives me a roadmap. And just like when you are on the highway following a roadmap, sometimes there's a detour that's not on the map. Sometimes the bridge is out. Sometimes you have to take a scenic side road that takes you someplace wonderful. So that works with the outline too, but it keeps me headed in the right direction. It reminds me that, if I shoot somebody in chapter 1, I have to find the gun in chapter 3 and send somebody away with the sheriff in chapter 6. It keeps me on track with those milestones that have to happen in the book, so that I don't get to the end and leave out something important. And that's where, Larry's my first best editor. He's the one who's going to come back to me on the first draft and go, close but no cigar. You're still missing some stuff. And then we go back and forth with each other through a whole lot of revisions. And that's what 39 years of marriage will get you, is, the ability to have those conversations. And that's it. I put butt in chair and write.
Which of your books or characters feel most personal to you?
Well, Tris Drake in my Chronicles of the Necromancer series will always be very, very special to me, because he was my first. He's my first main character. His book was my publication debut. I'm very grateful that the series did well, but, Tris was in my mind for many, many years before he actually came out on the page. And so he'll always be special to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. Go right ahead there.
Oh, I was going to say Cassidy Kincaid, my main character in the Deadly Curiosity series, is my first female lead for a series. I had female point of view characters in the other series who were very strong and very important to the plot, but Cassidy, the Deadly Curiosity stories are first and foremost Cassidy's stories, and so that's a standout there. But really, I love all my characters.
What challenges do authors face today that earlier generations of writers never had to deal with?
I think the sheer magnitude of choices. In the old days, you didn't have TV, you didn't have radio, you didn't have internet. Maybe you could go to a movie or a play, but you had books, or you had card games and conversation. There weren't a whole lot of options. Right now, people are absolutely smothered by the choices. Do you watch TV? Do you play games online? Do you join an RPG? Do you go to a bar? Do you play cards in real life? Do you read a book? Do you read it online? There's so many choices. So I think that's the biggest thing is standing out and cutting through the clutter. And that's where those relationships that you make at conventions, that you make in online spaces dedicated to writing, where people get to meet you and talk to you, that's where those relationships pay off. And they pay off for the reader because they have found something with a personal connection. And they pay off for the author because you've built an audience of people who feel connected to you and your worlds.
People today, when they say, well, geez, we've got nothing to do. I say, are you nuts? What do you mean you've got nothing to do? And the examples you gave were just proof of that.
Yeah, people used to play marbles for fun. I mean, we've come a long way.
What upcoming events are you going to be going to that maybe our listeners can drop by and say, hey, heard about you on the X Zone?
Well, thank you. Well, I am the con runner for Continual, the online, ongoing multi-genre convention that never ends, which is based online. And we've been going for 6 years now. We've had hundreds of panels. And so that's kind of my passion project. But that is an ongoing thing. I was just a virtual panelist at Balticon, which is Baltimore's big sci-fi panel. And so those panels are online. This coming weekend, and I don't know when this will be airing, but the last weekend of May, I will be a guest at Con Carolinas here in Charlotte, my hometown convention, which is always a good time. And then in July, I'll be a guest at Congregate in, I want to say Winston-Salem. But Congregate is a wonderful convention as well. And then in August, over Labor Day weekend, I'll be a guest at DragonCon, which is the super big, huge convention in Atlanta. I'm thrilled to be returning.
You are one busy lady.
And then I sneak off to just be a fan at the Supernatural convention in Charlotte in September because, I am a fan first and foremost.
Lord knows you've deserved it. Gail, when the final chapter of your career is written many, many, many years from now, what do you hope readers and fans will remember most about your work and legacy?
I hope they remember that I gave them a port in the storm, that I gave them a place of shelter when they had a bad day, that cheered them up, that I gave them heroes to cheer for, and that I made the world a little bit brighter for them. That's the highest praise anybody can have for you.
Gail, I want to thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you again, and I wish you continued success. And I look forward to the next time you and I meet back here in the X Zone, or maybe our paths will cross at one of the many, many places where you still go to meet your readers.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's always fun.
Take care of yourself, Gail, and my very best to your husband.
Thank you.
X Zone Nation, once again, if you'd like to find out more about Gail Martin, www.dreamspinnercommunications.com, and Gail's books are available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and online stores everywhere. I'll be back on the other side of this break as hour number 2 of the X-Zone begins right after this very short break. And you're listening to us right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ. That stream us at classic1220.ca and the CanCom Broadcast Network. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
To the peak so grand, we walk together united in this land. Every culture, every heart, a story to unfold. In this living tapestry, our pride is bold. With the wheat fields waving under skies so